Hi and good evening, everybody. It's a real pleasure to be with you tonight. This presentation is specifically designed to help people getting started with ASEA. Not ASEA the product, but ASEA the business. So we make no apology tonight for really discussing how to get going in order to build an organization. We understand that for many of you, this may be about impacting other people. It may be about impacting the world's health crisis. It may be about impacting your own financial crisis and being able to move forward and hit some goals and hit some dreams. Whatever your reason is, Malcolm, who is one of the fastest builders in the world of this business, is going to go through a 90-day plan of exactly what you ought to do. Now, this isn't the 90-day plan for a hobby. This is the 90-day plan to really establish a large organization. We also should say up front that these 90 days don't have to be because you're on day one of your ASEA business. You may have been around ASEA for a number of months, maybe even a number of years, but the very first step of these 90-day blitz can be any time if you're wanting to re-energize your business and get into it. Now, the very first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to cover, however, some of the business basics. And the reason we're going to do that is because we'd like this to be a complete package. If you really haven't even logged on at all, you don't even know what a binary is, I'm going to go through and give you a welcome to ASEA orientation in about 20 minutes. So this is a full package of what to do if you're just getting started today. Alrighty, so welcome to ASEA and welcome to the start of a journey that could truly transform your health and your finances. So we're going to cover three things today, as I mentioned. Firstly, we're going to go into an introduction of exactly an orientation. I'll cover quickly the 10 steps, the 10 basics that we do in order to build a business. And so what business are we in? We're in not just another product, we're in a business where we're dealing with the most significant advancement in health, anti-aging, and athletic advancement of our lifetimes. The technology inside this bottle is something that every single body, every single person with a cell needs, and in increasing levels will require as the world gets harder, more toxic, and more difficult. And the fortunate thing for you and I in business with the ASEA company is that there is no other place to get these molecules except through ASEA and except through you. So how much of this billion-dollar market do you want? Because we are encompassing some significant industries. The reasons why we got involved in ASEA, and I would like to recap them quickly in case you're still even on the fence wondering, what have I arrived in? Well, what you've arrived in is in the opportunity to participate with bringing a breakthrough science to the market. And many times in the past, I had been offered the opportunity to participate in products that were innovative and exciting, but truly you could kind of get somewhere else. Here, we're dealing with something that has zero competition. Therefore, you were really well placed in the market. There is no risk because the entry level is so low, which was great. When I got started, I didn't have much money at all. And I was excited about the fact that I had a technology where I wasn't looking for a minority. This wasn't a cool watch or a cool kind of gadget for some special sports cars. This was something that every single person needed. At the same time, it was incredibly simple, advanced, but simple. Only two key products backed by a strong compensation plan at the right time in the market with a company that is well established, growing, and right at the moment of pre-momentum. The freedom to work from home, develop a business in my own way, and the transparency of results. So if you've literally just landed with your ASEA business, the very first thing that you're going to receive is a login. You'll be able to go to teamasea.com, and this is going to be your dashboard from which you'll be able to do all the key functions that allow you to run a business in 36 markets across the world. You can order product, for example, just by going simply to the little shopping cart. You'll be able to bring new people on board. Now, it doesn't matter if they're wanting to be customers or retail customers. Of course, we really recommend that you give everybody an equal opportunity and an equal advantage. And the best way to do that is by opening associate accounts, even for people who want to be customers. I tell all my customers that if they want to benefit from wholesale pricing, be able to recommend to other people and be able to participate in all the benefits, they really need an associate account. Associates can also, you can also open their accounts directly into the binary tree. Now, we build this business in 2 teams. You'll have a left leg and a right leg. This is not designed as an orientation around the binary tree, but I will give you the basics. The general idea is to start building equally sized teams on the left leg and on the right leg. The team leg is the most exterior leg. You can see it right there where you can see a strong line down each exterior of the left and a strong line down each exterior of the right. Inside, you'll be able to see the positions available where people can open up their bonus, their internal leg, which gives them the ability to start benefiting from bonuses as they'll open their own binary tree along the way. All right, so there will be more on how to understand the commission structure. This is just a general orientation, but suffice to know that if you're just getting started, your first goal is just to start bringing people on board on both sides of your tree. The very first goal is to have somebody, to have an associate on the left and an associate on the right that are active. That makes you now eligible for commissions. If you want to know what those commissions are week to week, which is how we're paid, you can go into the report section and have a look at your commissions. And if you're looking for resources, you can go to the library and select your country that you're in. You'll be able to find resources from all around the world. Now, I'm just pointing a couple of the key things about your website, because even though it can do so much, at this point, you really only need to do those few things that I've just outlined. Order some product, help people open their accounts, check your commissions, and access your resources. Aside from that, as you go along, you'll discover that with ASEA, we are paid in 7 different ways. Again, there are videos specific to the compensation plan, but just as a general overview, I'd like to share with you that these are the incomes that are available through ASEA. Personally, I'm not much for the details. You can probably tell as I fumble through all the detailed part of the presentation. I've always just liked to look one step ahead. So when I first got started, I said, right, what do I need to do to be a director? Great, what do I need to do next to be a Director 300? If you're listening to this presentation, you've probably got somebody in your upline team that's happy to help you one step along the way. All you need to do is have a look at these income statements right here and pick what you need in order to live the lifestyle you'd like to live. Where do you want to be in 3 months' time? Where would you want to be in 1 year's time? And if you look at the diamond line, the average monthly income for a diamond is around $21,000, and that is a very true figure. And the average time for somebody to reach diamond is 21 months. Now, I don't know about you, but I personally did not have in the next 21 months. I'm asking you, what do you have that in 21 months can be giving you consistent income of $20,000 per month, whether you get up out of bed or not? That truly is a remarkable performance for any business. Now, it really is up to you to choose where you'd like your business to perform. You can make $50 a week, you can make $700, you can make $2,000, $3,000. You can really dial it up. You can make $23,000 a week, you can make $50,000 a week. It is limitless based on your volume. And based on what? Based on your activity. Just like any business, this business rewards performance and rewards volume. In our business, we've been able to identify that there are 10 key activities that generate results. Now, it's fine to be busy, but we'd like you to be productive. These are the 10 key cycle of activity that leads to productivity, that leads to results. I'm going to whip through them very quickly because Malcolm is going to expand on a couple of these things in his 90-day blitz section. But of course, everything begins with a vision. Everything begins with a goal. So where do you want to be with your health, with your finances, with your lifestyle? Where do you want to be personally? Who do you want to become, and what kind of life do you want to live what kind of life do you want your family to live? Okay, from there, we're going to work at creating a list. Again, Malcolm's going to expand on this, but I'd like to say that even the people that say, I just don't know anyone, we are surrounded by people constantly, and the list is an organic, living, breathing thing. I'm constantly adding to my list, and I'm actually constantly remembering people that I used to know, that I used to go to school with. Oh, that's right, her father was a physio. I always am adding to this list, not just from people I meet, but from people I remember. The next thing you want to do is familiarize yourself with a script. I really encourage you to get a screenshot of something like this. This is a script that I've personalized for myself based on what Malcolm says, but we pretty much need to be comfortable with what we're saying. For me, and I'll just go through this because I think this is where the money is being able to have a comfortable script. My script is a little bit like this. Hi, Ben, I hope you don't mind me reaching out to you. My friend Matt's working with a really exciting biotech over in the US. And look, we're bringing a breakthrough health technology to market here in Australia. It's a first of its kind, highly patented product with applications across longevity, disease prevention and treatment, beauty, athletics. Look, experts are saying it could totally change the landscape and be the most important advancement of the century. Ben, we're fully capitalized, so we're not looking for money, but we are growing at a really rapid pace. It's not a small operation. We turned over 150 million last year. We're set to hit the billion in the next 3 to 5 years. Now we're looking for people to help participate. So looking for people that want to participate in driving that growth. They need to be hardworking and open to additional income streams. I thought of you straight up. Would you be willing to connect up with Matt? You happy if I put you guys in touch? So there you go. I can't even read it because I'm just saying it how I say it. But you know what? This is the script. It takes 2 to 3, maximum 4 minutes. Obviously, you're pausing. You're getting there. You're getting a little bit of tiny little chit chat on the way. But, you know, I made 4 of these phone calls whilst walking the dog this afternoon. So it doesn't need to be a really monstrous thing. You can make this call once you're comfortable with a script. So make connections. Is what is going to allow you to have phone calls to make. So once you're comfortable with a script, get into that list. You can make connections in person. You can reach out to people on the phone. Mal's a big fan of the phone. You can also get out there by text or by email, although really the phone and the in-person connection, you can't beat it. Finally, of course, you want to get that information in front of people. We want to invite them into a workshop like the ones we have on a Monday night, or you want to go for a coffee or invite them into a Zoom or send them a webinar, but you've got to then present once you've made that contact and you've created interest. Now, there's no point going through all of that if we don't then follow up. And this, at least for me, this has always been the trickiest part because it's kind of like you can do all the other parts, but this is the conversion. This is where we take people through from a prospect through to an associate. The key here is not to try and make anybody into something they're not. You'll find 3 kinds of people: customers, members, and builders. Now, the customers and the members, to me, they're like the green apples. They're people who are kind of ready to try it. Maybe they want to use the product for a bit. Members are people who might just want to share it with their family and a few people. What we're looking for are the builders, the red apples that are ready to go and ready to go now. They come in all shapes and sizes, but they have one thing in common. They have a reason. They are highly motivated and they need to get this done. Whatever their reason is, they have some kind of fire inside of them, and this becomes a vehicle. Of course, we're going to bump into the rotten apples. It doesn't mean they're rotten people. It just means they're not ready for the pie right now. So we move on. We let them be what they want to be. Launching a business is the next step. So when you've got your green apples and your red apples, you want to get them registered. You want to open their accounts. You want to get them onto the correct product plan, set correct expectations, show them a little bit around the back office. And of course, if they're builders, plug them into one of our monthly trainings like this one. If there's live webinars in your area, you've got to get around the team. This is your business. It's not a hobby. It really is a business activity to be able to attend the small events and, of course, the large corporate events. We have an event coming up in Las Vegas in September. I mean, what a good excuse to go somewhere so fun, but make sure you get around the corporate team so you know who you're in business with. And of course, no system is a system if it is not being repeated. We literally are rewarded on how effectively and how quickly we're able to repeat these 10 steps. So from here, now that you have the basics on how to drive your back office, the 10 things that you need to be doing on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, let's swap over. I'm going to hand the mic back to Malcolm to go through exactly what you need to do if you want to get going and going fast. Over to you, Mal.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. I got left, Christina. Have we got 20 minutes?
Yeah, I've used 16.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is just start off with a question that I've been asking people as I speak to them about the ASEA opportunity. And one of the questions to ponder is this, is do products move people or do people move products? And if you say, well, no, people move products, which is the right answer in my opinion, then the business that you and I are in is the business of people. And what we actually do, and oftentimes people come to a business like ASEA and they have a perception that it's a sales business. It's not a sales business. Our business is about building distribution channels for ASEA around the world. And you and I are going to be paid in direct proportion to the volume that we create through those distribution channels that we open up for ASEA around the world. We get paid on volume ultimately. And who creates the volume? Do customers create volume? Yes, they do, if you have lots and lots of them. But who creates the numbers in organizations? Well, it's leaders. So the premise of what I'm going to share with you in the next 15 minutes or whatever I've got left is to set up what we call a 90-day blitz. And the best way that I've ever seen to build an organization or to start your organization is to begin a 90-day blitz. Now, I'm going to preface that by saying that you want to have a lead up. You don't want to make a decision and say, okay, well, I'll start that tomorrow. There needs to be a pre-launch phase before you start a blitz. There's some things that you'll need to attend to before you go into the full impact of running on into a 90-day blitz. The idea of a 90-day blitz is that you take massive action for 90 days. And it will change the format, change the view of your business. It'll change your organization. It'll change your numbers. It'll change your income. And it has the capacity, when done properly, to literally set your organization up. Most of the top networkers in the world have built their businesses, continue to build their business on these 90-day blitzes. People say, why don't you do it all the time? Well, it takes a lot of energy to do a 90-day blitz. It takes a lot of energy and a lot of focus to do a 90-day blitz. Let me give you a direct illustration. A very good friend of mine in America started his business in around October 2016, and he ran a 90-day blitz. His name is Leland Duck, and Leland reached the rank of diamond, executive diamond with ASEA in 14 weeks. So he went from zero to $25,000 US per month in 14 weeks. And he put a lot of effort into the business in 14 weeks, as you can imagine. So to go from zero to $25,000 US in 14 weeks is possible. There are people actually in the world now that have done that quicker. There was a lady that I saw in Thailand a few weeks ago that reached the diamond rank in about a month. But the way that most of us want to set our business up is to go as fast as we can, to prepare the groundwork, to find your key people, to get you going. So it's about getting the organization built very quickly and then maintain, and then you can do another 90-day blitz from time to time. Let me address these questions that I'm often asked. Is it easy? No. Is it convenient? No. Is it for the faint-hearted? Definitely not. Does everyone do this? No, they don't. So this is for the people. This is for those of you on the call listening here this evening who want to transform your organization quickly. You can build this slowly, but it will take a long, long time. The business does not like slow growth. Building organizations, I've found in the 20 plus years that I've been in the industry, I have watched the people that grow the business quickly are always the ones that get the organizations growing quickly. They're the ones that get to the money fast. The questions that you want to really ask or maybe address is this. Is it possible? Is it possible that you can do a 90-day blitz? Yes. Is it worth it? Absolutely. You can go from zero to creating a very good income within a 90-day period, as Leland Duck did. And you're able to do that as well. Can you do it? Yes, it's a decision. You don't have to be a certain kind of person to do a 90-day blitz. But you do have to make a decision that for 90 days, you're going to be inconvenienced. For 90 days, you're going to put a lot of effort in that maybe right now you're not quite putting in. And is it worth it? Absolutely, it's worth it. The question for you is really to answer is, will you do it? Will you take the next 90 days or whenever the start date? Because I want to suggest that it's going to take a little bit of lead up while you prepare your names list and do some preliminary work before you start your 90-day blitz. What I can tell you, it will change your future. Absolutely change your future if you decide to engage in a 90-day blitz. So let me kind of go into some of the things that I would recommend when I'm speaking to people about getting this done in the 90-day blitz. So for those of you on the call, and this is for really those of you who would like to let's say within 9 months to 18 months, develop a six-figure residual income, a six-figure passive income, building your ASEA business. And I would use the analogy with doing a blitz like taking off on a jet. When you take off on a jetliner, you absolutely hope that the pilot is putting the throttles down absolutely to the max, so he can get liftoff, so he can get the plane off the ground, and he can get it into the air, so that he can then put it on cruise control, cruise autopilot, whatever they call it. And that's exactly how you want to build a business like ASEA, is to get it off the ground as quickly as you possibly can. The business that we're in, it loves speed. If it loves speed, you can figure out it doesn't like slow growth. And the reason that it doesn't like slow growth is that the speed of the group in a business like this is the speed of the leader. If the leader is slow, the troops that are following are probably gone to sleep. So it loves to be built quickly. And our business loves those people that are consistent. And doing a 90-day blitz will train you to be consistent every day for a 90-day period of time. The number one priority that you will have in the 90 days, the number one thing that you want to accomplish is to set a goal of how many people personally that you want to enroll in that 90 days. So you can go from today, and if you said to me, okay, what's a good goal in that period of time? A good goal in the 90 days, as far as I would be concerned, would be to enroll between 24 to 30 personals in a 90-day period. And that will set you up with a very solid foundation. So some of you have heard me talk before that the average bronze in ASEA has enrolled around 24 people, and the average silver has enrolled 28 people. So the idea within the first 90-day blitz is that you end that period of time. If you can get through to somewhere around the silver executive level in 90 days, which is a significant rank in 90 days, you have the basis of a very solid silver executive business. And in the Australian business, you will generate an income of probably north of $5,000 per month if you've done that properly. How much time do you invest to be able to do that, and what do you do in the blitz? You invest somewhere between 15 to 30 hours per week. Most of what you'll be doing in the early stages of building a blitz is contacting people. This is a business of connections. This is a business of reaching out to new people. Today, I reached out to new people. I'm constantly on the search for new people. It becomes a habit in order to be able to do that. So the number one priority you have in the 90 days is to contact and connect with somewhere between 5 to 10 new people every single day. And you do that for 90 days. It will take you somewhere between 1.25 hours and 1.5 hours per day to do that. So you contact and you get on the phone for 1.25 hours to 1.5 hours per day. My preferred method of contacting people is on the phone. I'm not a huge fan. I don't really understand the connection on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Instagram, or those things. To me, it's about speaking with people directly. The question that I have at the end of my phone script is very straightforward. John, may I ask you, are you open to looking at other income options? I want an answer of yes or no. I don't want a maybe. I'm looking for a very clear answer. If I'm going to work with somebody, I want to work with somebody who wants to generate income and build this as a business. What I really do in a business like this, and if you decide to engage with ASEA and build it properly, what we really do is we're looking for our key people. No different from building any other business. Any other business in the world is built on finding key people. So that's exactly what I'm doing. I look for my board of directors. And my board of directors, I want to find people who are wanting to develop a significant 6-figure or 7-figure passive income, maybe even an 8-figure passive income. I have no doubts that within the next 5 years, 7 years, there'll be ASEA associates that will be generating 8 figures from this company. So also the thing to watch out for, when you start your 90-day blitz, remember, all too often people, when they start building a business like ASEA, they want the results straight away. They want to sow and reap in the same season. What I've watched in the years that I've been developing organizations is that there's a different season between sowing and reaping. When you start sowing into a business like this in week 1, you don't want to be looking back over your shoulder and watching and looking what's happened. You want to just keep going. You'll start to see the results of momentum when you do this. If you start your 90-day blitz in week 3, is normally when I would expect you start to see momentum kicking in, the numbers starting to kick in. I'm not saying that you won't register or enroll people in week 1, you probably will, and in week 2, but it's in week 3 that you'll really start to see the momentum kick in. So don't be discouraged if at the end of week 1, you look back and you think, well, I haven't accomplished a lot. That's quite normal. You have to sow a lot of seeds in order to start watching the seeds germinate and for you to be able to start reaping the rewards. So in the experience that I've had in the years that I've been building these organizations, it's week 3, provided you've been diligent in week 1 and week 2 and then follow it through in week 3, that you'll start to see things really happening, and then it starts to get really exciting. Most of the phone calls you're going to be making the first week and the first 2 weeks are for you personally. Once you start to enroll your new associates, then you start blending the calls for yourself personally, but also to start making those phone calls for the people that you've introduced. I do not leave the new people that I've enrolled to make their own phone calls. They have no idea what to say. They don't have enough armor on to learn what to say on the telephone. So I teach them. I spend time teaching people, training people how to communicate on the phone, the message or the script that we use, so that they can learn that script and then they can duplicate it. So let me give you a few keys. Number 1, know your phone script inside out and backwards. I should be able to call somebody at 3 o'clock in the morning and they know that phone script inside out, so that when they get on the phone, they're confident, they have posture, they know exactly what they're going to say. I've used this script over and over, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times. I already know what most people are going to say. They're either going to say yes or they're going to say no, and either is fine. I'm not trying to turn a no into a yes. And I couldn't change, if somebody says yes, that they're open to looking, it's exactly what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the people that are looking for an opportunity like ASEA. The second thing I'm going to recommend that you do on a 90-day blitz is you start listening to audible books. You want to start building yourself. You want to start building your self-image, your belief in you. Start listening to Audible somewhere between 30 minutes to 1 hour every single day. The faster you can grow, the faster you can develop you, the faster your organization will grow. Ultimately, a business like ours, building an ASEA business, ultimately it is about self-mastery. And so the faster you can grow, the faster you can develop you into the leader you want to become, the faster you will attract the leaders to your organization that you want to see. Your organization will ultimately be a reflection of who you are. If you have big leaders, big pins, big organization builders, it's generally because you are. So the leaders attract leaders. Monkeys produce monkeys, fish produce fish, red apples attract red apples, big leaders find big leaders. Small leaders tend to find small leaders. So a lot of it's to do with the way you think, the way you act, and the Audibles is going to help you. The other thing I'm going to suggest you do is find somebody to work with. Find a coach during the 90-day blitz especially. You need to run parallel with a mentor, somebody who can guide you. Keep very good statistics on what you're doing. Call them into your mentor once a week so they can have a look at your statistics to make sure you're on track. So find somebody in your organization and your support team that you work with. Generally, I would recommend that needs to be somebody who's a gold or above, a gold executive or above. Take counsel from somebody that's growing the business fast. Find somebody that you can work with as a mentor that's going to help you to get to where you want to be and build the business as quickly as you possibly can. Number 4 is have a very clear plan. What are you wanting to accomplish in the blitz? Is it to change rank? Is it to change income? Is it to prove to yourself you can build it? Is it to find leaders? It's very important that in the 90 days you have a very clear plan of why you are doing a 90-day blitz. in most people's case, initially it's to start to make money. It's to go from zero to $3,000, $5,000, $7,000 a month in that period of time. Again, this is for people who want to get to the money very, very quickly. And you can do that definitely within 90 days. The average silver, I might have mentioned before, the average silver executive will have enrolled about 28 personals. I've just written down here, you must have very specific goals, specific reasons why you will engage in the 90-day blitz. A 90-day blitz is going to test you. It's going to try you, but I can promise you it's going to be very worth it. Some of you that maybe it's silver now will have the capacity. If you take on a blitz, you'll be platinum within 90 days if you engage in a 90-day blitz. Let me just talk to you about some of the things now that I do that I've found over the years work very, very well. As you start building your organizations, these are some of the things that I do to help a new line that I'm working with grow very, very quickly. So I'm always going to book a meeting from a meeting. So if I've just enrolled John Smith, let's say John Smith, I enrolled him today, I opened his account today, and John is a builder. He's come on to build the business. He understands the potential of ASEA. He wants to be a diamond plus. He wants to develop a six-figure passive income. The first thing I'm going to do is to say, John, let's you and I get together within the next 24 to 48 hours. I'll make a time to meet with him. And I said, you and I are going to get on the phone. We're going to start connecting with people. I go straight into that. I don't spend a lot of time training him. I don't spend a lot of time teaching him the back office. I don't spend a lot of time teaching him everything that I know about ASEA. I get straight on his list, and I'm going to ask him to turn up at my place. We're going to do a phone session, and I'm going to ask him to bring 40 of the most ambitious people that he knows. And the reasons I do that is that I'm not going to leave my new person to get on the phone to the best potential builders that he's got, because he doesn't yet know what to say to them on the phone. He's got no script. He's had no training. So the best way of teaching, I found over the years, is to show. I don't tell people what to do. I show them what I do. So I'm going to make a meeting. I'm going to book a meeting. We're going to get the phone for an hour and a quarter, for an hour and a half. And my aim in that meeting is to get 6 lots of information out, to book 6 meetings, to have 6 people in that hour and a quarter to say, yes, I'd like to know more. Yes, I'd like to get together. Yes, I'd like to see some links. Yes, I'd like some information. Yes, I'd like to attend a webinar. So I'm looking for that within an hour and a half. Now, once we've done that, John's got a level of excitement because he can see that the things are happening straight away. The next thing I do is to book in my second meeting with him. On the first meeting, I will make most of the phone calls. I'll make 5 phone calls. I'll pass the phone over to him. I'll give him a go. He'll make a mess of it. Then he's going to pass the phone back over to me. I'll make another 5 phone calls. In the meantime, I'm going to give him my script, and I say, okay, John, your homework is to learn this script so that when we get back together again for the next phone session, that I'm going to do 5 phone calls, and then you're going to do 5 phone calls. So I'm in the process of teaching John what to say on the phone. My aim is to teach John so that he can teach his people. Remember, the idea of building large organizations is to duplicate. Most of this is about teachers teaching teachers to teach, to teach, to teach. The better you train people, teach people to build the business, to build their organizations, the faster your organizations will explode. This is about duplication. If you do it all yourself, you'll have a very high-paying job. And most of us on this call, we don't want high-paying jobs. We want to have a very substantial income. We want to be duplicatable, have organizations growing all around the world, and be incognito, maybe. So that's the kind of aim that we have to build a proper passive income. So that's the process. I'll make those phone calls. I'm going to book another meeting with my guy, and I'll do that probably 2 or 3 times until I feel he's absolutely competent. In that period of time, I will have enrolled 1, 2, 3, 4 people for him, and then I will move on to a level down, and I'll work with the next best person I find, and I'll go through the same process with them. So again, what I'm doing is I'm teaching as I move through. Once I've taught John, he's then free to go and start building his other line, and I'll work down one of his lines to help him. So doing the phone session, of course, will teach him what he needs to say on the telephone. Let me just go through these notes. Most important thing on this is to help them enroll new associates. Too many associates have been waiting. So I just mentioned that before. Too many associates, in my opinion, spend a lot of time training people, teaching people. What I found over the years is that people stay in a business like this for 3 reasons. When you've got a builder, and I'm talking about builders, I'm not talking about customers. I've got a lot of people that I've enrolled into ASEA for the product. They started taking the product 3 years ago. They're still taking the product. They may never build the organization. They may never do anything. They love the product. They'll never get off the product, and that's fine. But the duplicators are the ones we're looking for. We're looking for the builders. The idea of doing a 90-day blitz isn't the 90-day blitz. You want to find 2, 3, 4 key builders in your organization that's going to help grow out and multiply your organization, and then you teach them what you've learned. 3 reasons people hold in a business like ours. Number one, when they see new people coming in. When people see new people enrolling underneath them very, very quickly, it's very motivating. That they're very excited. When they see new people coming in, numbers coming in underneath them, it's very motivating. When they see a business growing like that, they're not going anywhere. Number 2 reason people hang around a business like this is for the money. When they start to see money starting to come in, when they start opening their smart wallet and they start getting bonuses every single week, it's very motivating. And number 3, most important reason that people stay in a business is relationships. Now, you can't have relationships with everybody in your organization. Ultimately, it's going to get too big. Probably 90% of the people in my organization, I don't know who they are, but I do know my leaders. So building a business like ASEA is about numbers, until we find our leaders, and then it's about relationships. So it's about numbers, understanding the maths that it takes to build organizations. Once you've done that, then it becomes numbers. Let me just refer you to, I was watching a little bit of this beforehand. Let me just lead you to a great YouTube clip. You can go to this if you want to write this down. It's called 90-Day Blitz Training by Eric Worre, and Worre is W-O-R-R-E. A 90-Day Blitz Training. He goes through a series of trainings on exactly how to do a 90-day blitz. He's got a lot more time than I have on his videos to share with you, but over the next day or two, I would encourage you to go to that, watch that thoroughly. Maybe you've got some time over Easter. He will also tell you about how you prep the blitz. What do you do in advance of starting the blitz? You know, making your names list, be very clear, hunkering down for the next 90 days to make sure that you're mentally, emotionally prepared to get in and run the 90-day blitz. This is the 90-day blitz, in my opinion, is the most significant way for anybody that's on this call right now to change ranks, to start, to grow their organizations, to go from zero to income, to get their organizations built really, really quickly. Let me just also leave you with 3 very good Audible books that I would recommend to you. And again, this is the first one is really for those that are just engaging for the first time in a business like this. And it's a book called Go Pro, G-O and then hyphen pro, P-R-O, by Eric Worre, who also does that 90-day blitz training that I just mentioned. Eric Worre is probably one of the key trainers, leading generic trainers. He trains organizations in lots of different businesses across the world. So that's a great book to get your teeth into if you're brand new to the industry. Now, if you're experienced in the industry, that's a beginner's book. So it's not really for you, but it's a very good book for anybody who's just starting out in this industry. Number 2 is a classic. You can read this over and over and over, and I promise every time you'll read it or listen to it on Audible, you'll learn more from it. And it's an Audible called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And the 3rd book I would recommend that you start with is a book called You Were Born Rich by Bob Proctor and John Canary. And the Audible app that I use, I'll try, it looks like that. Can you see that, Christina? Is that coming up on screen?
Yeah, it's called Audible. So
it's just called Audible. There's a few of them, but that's the one I use. And you can see all the books. The first month is free. You can download 2 books free in the first month. And then after that, it's $14.95 per month for a book. I can promise you this, that the more you read, the more you grow, the more you listen, the more you develop, the faster your organization's going to grow. And let me recommend and encourage that for those of you that want to get this built very, very quickly, change ranks quickly, move on up the ranks quickly, get yourself to diamond quickly, get yourself to a triple diamond quickly, ambassador diamond quickly, start with a 90-day blitz. You'll be very excited, and we'll notice the difference in your numbers and your organizations, and you can go from 0 to hero in a very short period of time, exactly with a 90-day blitz. So hope that helps.
That's awesome. That's awesome, Mal. I think that was like a lot of jam-packed information. And I just want to thank you for sharing that. There's a lot of value in that. There's a lot of years of experience. And I really would encourage you to get hold of this recording and listen to it over and over again. Malcolm's, too humble to sort of share what his experience has been. For those of you who don't know him, he went from absolute zero. Actually, it was more than zero. It was negative a lot. Where he found himself completely cleaned out, and thanks to ASEA, he's now built, he probably, I don't know what he would want me to say, but a really, really big income. And I get excited about that because it means that if Malcolm can do it, anybody can do it as well. You would have noticed in all the instructions he shared, it didn't go through, prerequisites. It didn't say, you'll need this education, or you'll need to have this background, or be this kind of personality. This is open for everybody who's willing to do the work. And you're only going to want to do the work if you have a reason to do it. So Malcolm had a really strong reason. I know many of you on this call have really strong reasons. You will have your tongue hanging out, but success is not built on convenience, and the results will be worth it. I'm going to thank you once again, Mal, for that awesome presentation. I'll pause the recording, but if anybody has any questions that they're really dying to ask, please pop them up on the chat, and I'm sure Malcolm will be really happy to expand on anything that he covered.
I met, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years ago. I had a quick chat to him. I said, look, I've got something I'd love to share with you. Have you got a card? He gave me his business card. I called him today. He took information. I'm following up with him in a few days' time. He's keen. The second one was somebody I met at a business event in 2000 and what are we now? 2016, 2015 at a business event. I got her card. And I mean, we met very briefly, probably for 2 seconds. She wouldn't have remembered me from a bar of soap. So it was kind of like a cold call, but I said, look, we have met before. And I called her and she wasn't interested. She has her own printing business doing well. So it's from anywhere. It's not people that you know intimately. My phone call, you can work with anybody. You can work with people you met 3 days ago. It's just building a database. It's just learning how to communicate with people. And building a list of people that you connected with. But there's 2 people that, one I really didn't know. The other one I hadn't met for years, kind of forgotten about him. So, but that kind of happens every day. I'm out, we're all out talking to people. I don't fang them on the spot. I just might say in conversation, they ask me what I'm doing. I said, look, I'm delivering something very exciting. It's been developed by a US biotech company. I'm delivering it to the market. It's very exciting. Let me have your card. I'd love to share it with you at some stage. I don't say in half an hour. I don't jump all over them. I just use some people skills. And the choice of words that we use are very important. I don't want people to think that I'm just going to fang them. Anyway, I hope that answers. One of the questions I ask people when I enroll them, first of all, is, do you have a mobile phone? And there's very few people that I've ever met that don't have a mobile phone. And the question I ask them is, do you mind if I ask how many names you've got in your mobile phone? Most people will say somewhere between 300 and 700. There's a database. I had somebody a couple of years ago, she said, I just don't know anybody. I said, oh, really? I said, are you on Facebook? She said, yes. I said, do you mind if I ask how many Facebook friends you've got? She said, I'm maxed out at 5,000. People know people. What people do when they come to a business like this, they automatically think, who do I know that will build and see a business? That's not the question to ask. You will never know who's going to build a business like this. I don't assume that I know who's going to build a business like this. That's not what I do. What I do is make a phone call, connect with somebody to ask them the question, share a little bit about what ASEA is, the technology. I don't mention certain words. I don't use certain words. I don't ask people, are you interested? I don't mention the word product. I have a very concise phone script. And at the end of it, my question is, John, may I ask, are you open to looking at other income options? So my aim is to ask that to people. But look, everybody's got a list. So here's a good way of making a names list. I don't know if you can see this. This is what I would encourage all of you to do as your homework over the next couple of days. I've been using this for a long time. And this will prompt your memory. This is a very simple thing. I was shown last century. I don't know if you can see this. Can you see that?
Yeah.
So on the top left, you write A to Z of names, and on the other side, A to Z of occupations. And then people that have said to me, I don't know anybody, I start going through that. And I said, okay, Mary, do you know somebody with the name Anne? Do you know an Angela? Do you know an Adam? Do you know an Aaron? Do you know a Bill, a Bob, a Brian, a Benjamin, a Bernadette, a Brenda? Do you know a Christopher? Do you know a Chase Lee? Do you know a Chris? Do you know a Dennis? Do you know? And then we come to the other side. Do you know an accountant? Do you know an architect? Do you know a builder, a butcher, a banker, a boilermaker? What this does, it jogs the memory. Yeah. What most people do is they go and they think, okay, who do I know that's going to build an ASEA business? Here's what I would say to you, everybody, whoever asked that question and whoever is on the call wondering, let me just address it this way. If I was, what are we today? Monday night. If I was to get together with you on Thursday and I said to you, I will give you $1,000 in cash for every name that you have written down with a telephone number beside it, how much money would you like me to bring? And most people would say, I'd like you to bring a briefcase with about $200,000 or $300,000 or $400,000. Exactly, because now you're not focusing on the ASEA business or what you're going to say to somebody. Now all you're focused on is $1,000.
Yeah.
And too often people try and prejudge who's going to build this. That's a dangerous thing to do. Oftentimes you'll look at people you'll think will be really good at this business. They don't do anything. Oftentimes you'll look at people and you think they may not do anything. I don't think they'll do anything. And they become involved. And they may not be your leader, but 3 down underneath them, you might find the biggest leader in your organization that had you not introduced that person, you wouldn't have found your way to 3 levels down to find that key leader. So don't prejudge anybody. So look, unless you've just arrived here from outer space or you've arrived from another country and you don't know anybody in Brisbane, but you know what? Even if I didn't know anybody, I would build a database. I'd take 2 weeks. I would go out, I would meet people, I'd talk to people, I'd get on the phone, I would build a database, and then in 2 weeks, I would begin my blitz. I'd have enough people rolling that I would get on the phone and I'd start communicating with them. Most people don't do it because they're frightened of people saying no to them.
I'll just get through a couple of the other quick questions. There's a few on there. With the contacting too, I'll just add that like the 4 calls I made today were from people that I've connected through on LinkedIn that I didn't know yesterday. So whilst I believe that it's very tricky and almost impossible to make conversions, at least how I've found it, just on social media platforms, it's a great way to meet people as long as you can then transfer them and get them onto a live phone call or a live coffee. So if someone's actually stuck in the house with little kids or whatever and they can't get out, you can still reach out to people and go, I love your profile. I love that you've got a yoga studio. There's something I'd like to run by you. Is there a good time we could talk tomorrow? I do that and I connect with people live. People are warm. Most people are great.
You're a lot younger than I am, Christina. You know how to drive that LinkedIn machinery. I'm not very good at it. There are some of this on this call that are kind of old school, and we're used to picking up the dog and bone and having a chat with somebody. Wow. You know, the worst things anybody's ever going to say is no. And when you understand that the more no's that you get, the more that ASEA is going to pay you, and learn to discipline your disappointments. People in the 30 odd years, I don't know, years that I've been contacting people, nobody has ever drawn blood on the phone. The worst I've ever got is no thanks. And once you can learn to get that there's no problems getting no's. In fact, the more no's you get, the better. But look, you can source people from LinkedIn, I agree.
No, I mean, I'm getting on the phone to them. Like I'm not bypassing the phone call.
No, I know that, but you know how to harvest names off the LinkedIn. I don't know how to do that.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, from anywhere, from anywhere. Okay, I've got a couple of questions here. What is the, okay, let's answer this one quickly. Are you working 5, 6 or 7 days a week in this 90-day blitz?
Depends on how badly you want the outcome. Normally it works 6. I would recommend you have 1 day off a week to rest and recover.
Okay. What's the most common stumbling block that you would find in a 90-day blitz that you'll see people that might take them off track?
Their mental attitude.
Okay.
They lose their resolve because they look at what's happening. People look back over their shoulder. They start sowing. and they don't see the results coming in straight away. Remember, most people want instant gratification. They want to see the wins straight away. And you've got to keep sowing and sowing and sowing. And this will test your resolve. To go 90 days, test your resolve, your belief, your attitude, your faith. And that's why it's important to work with a mentor who can guide you and encourage you. Keep going, mate. Keep going. You know, keep sowing, keep sowing. You cannot sow without reaping. The principles in our universe are these. If you sow, you must reap, but you will not reap in the same season in which you sow. These are irrefutable laws of the universe. And as James Rohn says, sometimes people say, well, I don't like those laws. And as James Rohn used to say, well, when you get your own planet, you can make your own laws. But on this planet, we're a guest. And that's kind of the way it works. But you will, if you continue to sow, you must reap. Yeah. You must. I can't tell you whether it's going to be day 3, day 16. I can promise you, you keep going, you get better at the calls, but have somebody coming in behind you to encourage you. Work with a coach. Work with somebody that's got your best interest. Work with somebody who can help you, guide you, mentor you, teach you, coach you. That's the best advice I can give to people.
Okay, there's some really great questions, but we might wrap up with one that's probably a good one to finish on. It's from Sarah, and she has just asked, what kind of preparation do we need to do before we start? So let's say that someone in this course has decided, yep, I'm going to do a 90-day blitz. What are the things I need to have in place?
Go to that Eric Worre training on YouTube. He'll tell you exactly what you need to do. He calls it a pre-launch. It's on YouTube. You can go to that. It's a pre-launch. It involves things like preparing your lists. It means getting ready. It means having a start date. When you go, you want to go. You want to make a decision that on a certain date, not tomorrow, because you might need 3 days, 5 days to prep this. Get your list ready. Get your resolve ready. Get your family ready. Yeah. You know, if you're married, if you've got kids, you need to do it with their approval. Let them know, look, I'm going to be out of, sew me a quilt. I'm going to be out of here for 90 days. You are going to be busy, especially when you get this thing wound up. You can go from 0 to hundreds of people in your organization. I was just listening to Eric Worre. One of the guys that he worked with went from 0 to 600 people in 90 days. That's what's possible. You're going to get busy, but you set up 600 people, you're on your way to diamond. If you've set it up properly with a good structure, you're on your way to diamond. I would remind you that Leland went diamond in 14 weeks. And it can be done quickly with the right mindset.
And whilst you might strike silver or gold in those 90 days, you've probably already established for yourself a platform that'll then take you beyond.
More importantly, you know how to build the business. When you get up to the silver gold level, you pretty much know what to do. You probably can't do a back-to-back blitz. So what you do is you do a 90-day blitz, you get it off the ground, you get it moving, you get it firing with great excitement, great momentum. You start seeing the money coming in. Then you watch that, you monitor that, you manage that. And then you might have a week, a 2 week, 3 weeks, 5 weeks off. And then if you can go into another blitz, then you are going to be in diamond qualification or set your diamond ship up. This is the best way. Most of the 7-figure income earners in the world, this is exactly what they do. This is exactly how they build their organizations. And it is that, you know what? It's the most challenging, but it'll be the most exciting thing you ever do. I promise you, it'll demand the best of you. And that'll be good enough. It demands everything you've got, and that'll do it. And
it's just a season. I think it's important to remember. I don't know if you recall, Mal, but we made a few certain things because you were running on a certain pin, and I was getting started and did a 90-day as well. I committed to 10 phone calls every single day, and we took the children out of sports. I stopped my writing, my creative hobbies, like everything just had to get leaned up. You're literally training for your gold medal. You're setting yourself up financially. So don't be afraid.
That's why you have to know why you're doing it, because if you don't know why you're doing it, you'll probably crack. You've got to have a very clear vision of what you're doing. That's why, your business planning is so important, to know what you want at the end of 3 months, what you want at the end of 6 months and 12 months. Many of you on this call, you start your blitz now. Many of you should be cranking diamond by the end of the year. That's how powerful these blitzes are. Many of you can do that. It's been done before. You do it and duplicate it in your team. You start getting some of your guys to do it. Then you start watching the fireworks go off. You start watching what can happen. Build it very quickly.
Oh, well, thank you so